morning, Chocolo Roberto here, but not for a video review, for episode 11 of Look Back. Yes, hopefully I've got the episode right this time. I think I said, maybe it was 10 last week and said 9 or something like that, but yeah, just a bit. This is where I look back at reviews I did 1 year and 5 years ago. I've been doing the channel for over 5 years now, so I'm able to do that. So it's hard to believe, and I still, still can't believe it really, but there we go. Yeah, so what I do is I basically look back at videos, as I say, reviews that I did a year ago and 5 years ago, and basically just give my opinion on whether I still agree with what I said at the time, and just reminisce on chocolates that may have come and gone, basically, or yeah, probably not likely in a year, but you never know. But 5 years ago certainly is a good chance of that. So yeah, so I did quite a lot of reviews actually 1 year and 5 years ago. I did loads actually. So I try not to rush through it, but I don't want to. It could be one of those that lasts a long time, so we'll see. I'm hopefully, so I'll have to I'll have to try and be succinct is the gist of it. So we'll see if that happens. Yeah, who knows? But yeah, the link for probably put in. It's probably already seen. A message will appear in the top this corner up here, I think, saying that all the links for all the reviews will be in the description. So if you fancy watching the reviews, you can go and do that. I also did some member reviews as well, starting a year ago. So yeah, I did various Walker's Taste Icons crisp reviews. I did a gourmet burger kitchen cheeseburger. I did a Pizza Express American hot pizza and Pizza Express margarita pizza as well. So yes, if you are a member, link for those are in the description. Not seen them yet, or if you were thinking of becoming a member, well, that's free reviews for you for the start. I think I've done about 50 reviews now, member exclusive reviews. So there's plenty there. Anyway, link for being a member is in the description as well, as is the Discord server. There we go. Got all that out of the way. All right, let's make a start then. Okay, so what did I do 1 year ago? So I've just got my list behind me. You might see me slightly looking off to the right. That's just because I'm looking at my list. I did After 8 Strobian Mints. Yeah, I said this one was a 2.5 out of 5, and I said it was just a bit meh, basically. I don't normally use that word, but it kind of summed it up. Just the flavours didn't really work very well together was the gist of it. I think After 8s are After 8s, and, they're quite distinct, and I think it's nice to have a bit of difference. I'm glad they've done something different. They've done a few different types. They've done an orange gin and tonic, and they did these are two, orange, and then they did a gin and tonic one, and they've done a mojito one, I think, as well. So it's a good, including the original flavour, it's a good 5 flavours at least. But I think long story short is that the originals are just the best, and people kind of just want After 8s, I think, generally. And I don't know. So yeah. So I think 2.5 out of 5 for this strawberry ones. Yeah, it's probably about right. It might be more of a 2 if anything, but I think the fact it's quite a refreshing flavour as such, but the flavours just don't kind of work. It's just better with mint. So yeah. So I'm going to stick with that one. 2.5 out of 5, but I could easily have made it 2, I think, but it wasn't that bad. Then we had the Swizzles Drumstick Chocolate Bar. Yeah, so we're based on the Swizzles Drumstick Lolly. 5 out of 5 again this one. I was massively surprised. I thought it was going to be pretty terrible, pretty cheap, and it was absolutely gorgeous. Like a sort of Swizzles, it's like a sort of chewy lolly, basically. I think it's milk flavour and raspberry. I think it's always forget it's raspberry or strawberry. I think it's raspberry. Yeah, it's half and half, basically. And I was expecting this bar to be very strange, I didn't know what to make of it at all. Basically, it was like a very sort of smooth, creamy layer, with I think raspberry pieces in, or strawberry pieces in, freeze-dried pieces or whatever. I'm not sure if they were real strawberry pieces or raspberry, but it was just really nice. The only problem with it was there was no actual chew to it, which I was kind of expecting. That's kind of the thing with the actual drumstick lolly itself. But to be fair, they did such a good job of it. 5 out of 5. It was really, really nice. I was really, really impressed. I remember taking one to a friend's house, and they just say, try this, and he just couldn't stop eating it. It was really that nice, and he just, I think it's still around us now as well. You can still see it in places like B&M and Home Bargains, I think. Yeah, so, definitely check it out if you've not tried it. Really, really nice. Now, the KitKat Chunky Mint. I gave this a 3 out of 5. Now, I'm not the biggest mint person in the world, so there is that, so bear that in mind. But I think, but I am a big KitKat Chunky fan, and I just didn't think it worked that well. The mint and the chocolate just didn't work that well. I don't know, it just wasn't for me, this one. Wasn't terrible or anything. 3 out of 5 is still a good, an average chocolate is a good chocolate, and 3 out of 5 is basically the average score. But it just didn't really excel in anything, just didn't work for me. So yeah, but as I say, I'm not the biggest mint person, but I find mints, mint is mint, you know what I mean? You rarely get any kind of, sometimes you get more of a subtle flavour, and sometimes you get it mixed with some things that make the difference. But at the end of the day, I just found that the KitKat Chunky Mint just didn't really work for me, so that's why it's a 3 out of 5. Yeah, shame, but I'm sure mint fans out there probably would have thought it was a 4 out of 5. But but I don't mind mint, but it has to be done just so for me, and it wasn't in this case. We had cranberry and orange Jaffa cakes. Yeah, this one a bit similar to the After Eight strawberry and mint one. The strawberry mint one I guess was a bit extreme. Those strawberry mint, I don't know, just didn't really work really. But the cranberry and orange Jaffa cakes, they didn't really work either, but not for the same reasons. More because it was just you just couldn't really taste the cranberry. You know, it just wasn't really. It just seemed a lesser flavour than the regular orange ones. It just wasn't as strong. You know, it just even though it's got two flavours together, they've obviously lessened the orange flavour, I guess, and added the cranberry flavour, but it just didn't quite work. It just wasn't as good, and I found a lot of the Jaffa cake flavours are just not quite as good as the original orange one. Some of them come a bit closer than others, but this one wasn't too great, but the box looked nice. And I gave this a 3 out of 5, and I think that's probably about right. Well, just an average Jaffa cake, as in, you know, the actual Jaffa cakes are a good 4.5 probably out of 5. I'm not too sure, but definitely at least a 4. But this one, yeah, just wasn't as good. Then did I think as part of the few of these were, I think maybe some of these stretched into the 1,000 subscriber special. Actually, it was a year ago. We've got almost 1,600 now, so come on, quite strong in a year. But yeah, I did Evadell's Creme Brulee. I think the request of AB for this one. Yeah, really like this one. 5 out of 5. It was just it was what I said. It didn't really excel at anything. I said it wasn't quite going to blow your socks off, even though. Maybe that's what the threshold for 5 out of 5 is, really. I was speaking to Alan Lockhart saying she should get a special stamp for it. But I think it kind of did this one. It was just so strong in so many areas, but it didn't sort of, you know, it didn't really excel in any of them, but it did them all almost perfectly. You know, it's just really, you know, if that's not a contradiction or an oxymoron or whatever, but hopefully you know what I mean. Just really nice. It just was a really unique taste, really solid chocolate bar, nailed the flavour. Was so unique that even the segment sizes are unique. It just looks beautiful. Really interesting chocolate bar, you know. So it was just really nice. Just great components and done really well. So yeah, 5 out of 5. Yeah, we had Terry's Chocolate Orange Biscuit Bar. Yes, this one was sort of Terry's Chocolate Orange Bar. So it's usually that 2-columned affair with lots of segment look. You know, the segments are shaped like orange segments. They're all stuck together in like an overlapping line almost. I gave this one. I gave this a 4 out of 5 when I did it, and I said that the biscuit pieces weren't right. They were very uniform. They looked like pellets, and I wasn't very happy with it. But to be honest with you, I had it again, and I preferred it the second time around actually. So I think it's a 4.5 out of 5 actually. So we've gone up slightly that one from a 4. Just the biscuits are a bit almost artificial, you'd almost say, but. I don't know. It's one of those where perhaps it grows on you a bit. So I'm raising that onto a 4.5 out of 5. Very nice. Terry's Chocolate Orange generally is really good. Yeah, very nice. That was a good one, that one. Now what do we have? Yeah, Cadbury's UK Orange Twirl. So this was the UK version of the one that came out in Egypt perhaps a year or two before this. That one wasn't too great, that one actually. It just wasn't, the chocolate just wasn't as nice. It wasn't produced in the same factory, presumably to the same recipe. But this one was the UK sort of, I think it's, I've heard Scotty and Andrew Winton mention it's actually made in factory in Ireland, or it was. It tasted gorgeous, this one. Worked really well. The twirl chocolate just worked really well with the orange flavouring because it's all twirl. You know, twirl's basically like a bit of a crumbly, it's almost flake-like chocolate bar, but enrobed in chocolate. So it's got a solid outer shell rather than just all flaky, you know. It just keeps it together basically. Really, really nice. I really like this one. I gave it a 5 out of 5, this one. I'm not sure if I reviewed it again. I don't know. I'd have to review it again to change my mind on this one. But I'm going to give myself the benefit of that because I specifically said it was better than other orange products that are on the same time. Just worked really well. So, you know, yeah. So, yeah, really nice from memory as well. I do remember being very happy with it. But as I say, you know, it's one of those where I've not had it for some time now. You know, reviewing chocolates, you keep moving on. You can't really taste the same one twice because you've got no. I've got a backlog of chocolate as it is, so I can't be tasting ones I've already had more than once generally. I know it's crazy into it. Sometimes it happens. It's quite rare that it happens. But yeah, 5 out of 5. Not changing it. I think yeah, I specifically said, as I say, that it was better than a lot of other orange products at the time. Some of the other orange ones that have come out, the Cadbury, you know, other Cadbury orange fingers, things like this, which we'll come to in a bit, you know, just weren't quite as to a high standard. But that one specifically stood out. So yeah, it's 5 out of 5. Now what else do we have? We had yeah, Mint Malteser biscuits, so another mint product. Then you know, I said it was. I said it wasn't really as good as the original ones, the ones about mint basically. I just didn't think it quite worked, you know. And again, it could be me and mint, you know. I think mint, as I say, it's just got to be done just right. And again, this was another example where I wasn't as keen. Having said that, the Malteser mint buttons, worked really well, better than the orange ones, but I felt like the biscuit was the way around in this case, where they did the orange biscuit and the mint biscuit. The orange biscuit was really good, which they released just a couple of months back. But the mint one, yeah, just didn't work for me. I gave it 3.5 out of 5. It's probably about right, that one. Probably about right. Yeah, you know, it just... you couldn't taste any honeycomb either in it. There was no real sort of Maltesery taste either, so... I don't know, yeah, I don't think it was in the orange one either actually, but that's another story. But yeah, it just didn't really work for me again. Just didn't really work for me. The flavour just didn't work really with the biscuits. But it's a novel idea, a mint biscuit. You don't get many of those, so recommended for mint fans to try it out. But for me again, it just wasn't. Still 3.5 out of 5 is above average, but it wasn't. It didn't excel, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I just thought it was a bit too. I don't know. The biscuit was good, but I don't know. Let's see. I think I just said, yeah, but no real honeycomb taste, basically, which I think I mentioned. So yeah, just and the mint didn't really do it for me too much, but it was there and it was a novelty. Nice to have a mint biscuit, which is unusual, but as I say, it just didn't really do it for me as a whole. But as I say, it's still 3.5 out of 5, which is still above average, so it did something, just not a massive amount. Okay, and then what else we got? Galaxy Orange Truffle. Yeah, this one. I think I did Galaxy Caramel Truffles last week, I think, last look back anyway. These boxes, I didn't mention that time, but these boxes were so ridiculous with the space, so the amount of empty space in the box, and all the individual truffles themselves are individually wrapped, but they're wrapped to be almost twice as big as they should be because of these massive flourishes on the top of them. So that was ridiculous. I forgot to mention that. That's really poor, that was. And I found the orange ones just weren't... jumping on this orange bandwagon. You notice there's loads of orange things this time last year. It just didn't really do much. It was too subtle a flavour. It didn't really stand out too much. A bit like the Galaxy Orange Bar itself. It just wasn't, for me, it just didn't really stand out too much. I gave it 3.5 out of 5. Probably about right, that. I think that's probably about right, And it just, yeah. There's just so many of them in the box as well. They got a bit boring as well. But, but they were still nice. I'd say still above average, not too mundane, but nothing too dramatically special. 3.5 out of 5. And then what else we got? We got the Milky Caramel Lovely, yeah. So this is basically Milky Bubbly Caramel. Gave this 3.5 out of 5 as well. And I just basically said it was just not really, it didn't really excel. No, again, no real strong flavours. There was caramel and aerated chocolate, which sounds like a brilliant combination and is in a Whisper Gold. But these two, I don't know, they were okay. They were okay, basically, just above average. Again, still a good mark, but it just didn't really stand out massively, dramatically. Yeah, it was a nice bar, but it wasn't much more than that, Still nice, as I say, still above average, but, as I say, it wasn't anything special, but still good. 3 out of 5. Yeah, so I don't think I'm disagreeing with that one again. Not just going many of these. Well, I said only a year ago, so there you go. So really, and Cadbury's Orange Fingers, give these a 3 out of 5. So they do just nothing special. These ones definitely were average. Yeah. Basically, the orange flavour, it just didn't seem to be as good as the regular ones, basically. The orange flavour just didn't really add anything to it. And there's not much chocolate on these fingers either. So, having an orange chocolate isn't going to add too much to them, really. And it doesn't in this case. Pretty average. I mean, I think the benchmark has a benchline. Benchline. But both, actually, I guess. Yeah. Baseline, there you go. That's what I was thinking. 4 biscuits is basically not a chocolate, a regular digestive at a 2 out of 5, basically. So this is better than that, basically because it's shortbread biscuit covered in chocolate. It's not massively different, but it's better. So 3 out of 5. For me, that's probably about right. Yeah, just as I say, just the orange chocolate just wasn't anything dramatically special at all. You could barely really taste it. It just wasn't that great. So yeah, unlike the orange twirl, as I said before, which was really good. But yeah, and then what else do we have? Peanut butter flips as well. I give these a 3.5 out of 5. Again, another average one, really. Well, just slightly above average one. Nothing special. Just, I'll say they're just not average, but they're just slightly above it, but only just to have been a 3.5 out of 5. So not really standing out that much. I just basically said it was, it was peanut butter and pretzel flavours. The peanut butter wasn't too strong. There's better peanut butter, products out there. Basically, peanut butter Kit Chunky Reese's sticks, Reese's cups. Most Reese's products really. But it was nice to have the salty flavour from the pretzels, but the peanut butter just wasn't anything special. It didn't really taste of much. So yeah, it was alright. 3.5 out of 5, that one, yeah, so that's about right, really. Yeah, the Lindt Lindors Salted Chocolate Truffles selection tin. Yes, this was a massive tin of Lindors, basically. Individual Lindors are not really my thing. They're too sickly. I like the mini ones, basically, or the chocolate bar versions of Lindor, where it's just a bit, there's a bit less of the middle, but about the same as the chocolate in sort of, yeah, essentially. Well, not quite, but you know what I mean. There's more chocolate, and less middle, basically. So they just work out a bit better. Now this tin, I didn't think for once they actually had a perfect distribution, pretty much. I think there was basically there was, let's just say there was 5 different kinds, and I think they had sort of three of each of the non-normal ones, and then they had 4 of the regular ones, and I think it kind of worked out fine, or something along those lines. Anyway, there was a good distribution, and they clearly, unless I was very lucky, I think they'd really done it on purpose, and it just showed that they could do it. I mean, I only bought 1 tin, but there we go. But I only gave this a 2.5 out of 5 because I just didn't think it was that good a selection tin. I thought they all taste too similar. They're all too sickly. You can't eat many of them, before you just get, as I say, too sickly. It's too much. It's not. You could argue that's the case with a lot of Lindt selections, and it probably is really. But yeah, I don't know. It just seemed too much. I don't know. I just wasn't happy with it. And it might have been because I just tried them all in the review, and by the end of it, I was just dying because it was just so sickly. So there is that, of course. But as a chocolate selection, yeah, it was a bit below average, really. I don't know. I mean, you can get a box of Lindors, and that's not a chocolate selection. That's a box of Lindors, so you can just, you could technically eat them all, but generally for one at a time. But a selection box is meant to be something where you can pick and have different flavors of different kinds, all very unique. It's an interesting experience, very novel. This wasn't that. It wasn't interesting. It wasn't novel. They were very sickly. They were all very similar. I mean, they were different flavors, but they all were generally basically just based on the same thing. I think it was only really the white chocolate one. I think it was slightly different because I had a white chocolate centre, or white truffle centre, whatever it was. It wasn't actually chocolate. Whereas all the others were very similar, just different flavours as such. So it's still that creamy, sickly Lindor centre, which I know lots of people like, but as I say, after a few of them, you can't eat anymore. They're too much, and they're too similar, so you can't. There's no palate cleansers or ones to just change that or have a longer chew or anything like that. They're all just too similar. Anyway, so 2.5 out of 5. It's probably about right, really. It could even lower it to a 2, but I think it might be going a bit too far, that one. I think they're okay in isolation, the Lindor chocolates on their own, but as I say, as a selection, it just wasn't that great. Yeah, so there we go. So I'll keep it a 2.5 out of 5. But as I say, if anything, it would have been a 2 for being properly below average. But just because it is generally a nice product individually, that's why it's just a 2.5. That's why it's more than a 2, and it's a 2.5. But still disappointing, that for sure. Then we had the Nestle KitKat Gold. Yeah, I gave this a 4.5 out of 5, and basically caramel milk, really. But I found it was a bit. I had it again, and again, this is another one, really. I did have it again afterwards, and maybe the novelty had gone a bit. So it was basically caramel milk, really, and I had it again afterwards, and I just found it was a bit too. I don't know, a bit more mundane than the 4.5 out of 5 implied. I don't know. So I think. Yeah, I think really it's more of a high 3.5, a low 4, and I think I'll lower this one to a 4. Basically, it was basically caramel, but it was just a bit too. Quite a strong caramel flavour, really. Before caramel was more of a thing than it is now, really, I guess. But yeah, so I think a 4 out of 5, that one, basically. It was still nice. KitKat, basically, with sort of like a caramel covering, sort of caramel white chocolate. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad, that one. But as I say, it just wasn't quite as good as I thought it was. So yeah, 4 out of 5. Right, so we move on to 5 years ago. Yeah, I told you I reviewed that. It's just the first year, that one. I've got just as many again, pretty much, for 5 years ago. I think because I did a bit of a gap between what I did last time. There's about a week or two of a gap, really, before, or maybe about 10 days, maybe, before I reviewed more of them. So they just all came at once. I used to put them all up in one day back in those days, because I could edit them a lot quicker, because, just didn't require as much editing, but... I didn't do as many things. But anyway. So Faces New York Iced Coffee and Mudkick Infused Milk Chocolate. This was one of their travel editions. Yeah, they did Copenhagen, London, Rio, and Miami, I think they did. Yeah, 4 of them. And this was the Copenhagen one was something else. I think that's probably next look back, I think. Really nice, this one. Gave it 4 out of 5. I said it's very subtle, basically. I thought it looked really nice. It really had a sort of lovely bit, not too different from perhaps the Galaxy Cookie Crumble, sort of, at the end of the day. It was just a bit subtle, really, but it worked well, but it was just a subtle flavour. I'm not sure, really. I feel like it's probably more of a 4, this one, just because, I feel like it was quite subtle. I do distinctly remember. I think again, might have had this one again as well. I think, but not for a long time. These have been discontinued for a long time now. I don't think you get these anymore. I'm tempted to give this a 4. Mark it down as a 4. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Hard one, this one. I just feel like it was quite subtle. I just felt like it wasn't really, as strong a flavour as it was, as you'd hoped it would be. I mean, iced coffee, Phaser's New York iced coffee and mud cake infused milk chocolate. I mean, it wasn't really as fantastic as that sounds. I think I will mark it down to 4. It's still really nice though, but it wasn't as good as it sounds there, and that's a bit disappointing. Obviously, they just called it coffee infused milk chocolate. I don't know, but it just had lots of crumbly bits in it. It was really nice and packed, but I don't know, it just was a bit too subtle. So I think a 4 out of 5. I think basically, maybe at the time I just wasn't used to having such a special chocolate, but nowadays it's not as uncommon. So yeah, but again, the name was nice. Then we did the Star Bar. I gave this a 3 out of 5 and said it was just basically Star Bar is a boost but with peanuts in. So it's got this weird sort of dissolving, melting in the mouth centre with lots of caramel things. I just basically it wasn't as good as a Snickers really. Yeah, it just wasn't as good as a Snickers. Is the gist of it. So 3 out of 5. Snickers is probably a 3.5, maybe a 4. It depends on the day really. But yeah, it was nice. Just wasn't as good as a Snickers. 3 out of 5. And I did the boost as well. I mentioned the Star Bar was basically a boost with peanuts in. Boost, yeah, it's a sort of chewy bar in the middle. It's got like a sort of sphere of this weird truffly mousse centre, and surrounded with caramel, like in a circle almost, and then it's covered in chocolate. And the Star Bar is quite similar. I think the peanuts in the Star Bar are in the caramel part. I think maybe around the maybe in the caramel, maybe in the outside chocolate. Anyway, yeah. But either way, yeah, this one Boost is alright. It's very strange, very chewy. Like the Star Bar really as well. Very sweet as well. Quite a unique product. That and other than the Star Bar, of course. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I think that's probably about right. It's just very sweet. It's a weird bar, really. You've got to be in the right mood for it, really. It's a weird bar. 3 out of 5 is about right. It depends how you're feeling, basically. I don't often have a craving for a boost at all. But perhaps once every 5 years, maybe I'll try it again soon. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those bars. There might be, it's a very particular bar. So some days you might really crave it, but most days I think you'd probably want something else. So yeah, 3 out of 5. That's about right. Then we had the fries chocolate cream. Yeah, I don't know if Andrew Winton's watching, but I gave this 3 out of 5. Yeah, I said it was all right. I said basically I think it'd be more suited to just like a little sweet, one segment at a time. You can eat it one segment at a time. But I mean like a little wrap sweet, just as a one-off. There's no flavouring. It's just like fondant cream sensor. You might think it might be flavoured mint or something, but it isn't. There is a mint flavoured one. So it's basically a bit like as I say, an after eight, but in a bigger segment. Not flavoured with mint. It's all right. It's just all right. Basically, it's different. No flavouring in it, as I say, but it's pretty much an average product. It's a 3 out of 5. It's a definition of quite an average sort of fondant cream offering. 3 out of 5. Yeah, that's about right. You had Twix's peanut butter. I was very disappointed with this one. The peanut butter was just too subtle in it. Basically, I gave it 2 out of 5, and yeah, I think that's probably about right, really. I just don't remember thinking anything special about this one at all. Really excited for it as well. I remember I thought it was available in the UK. I remember going around all the shops asking, "Is it in? Is it in? Is it in?" And it was an imported product. I didn't realise. I did eventually get. I think I got it online in the end. But very disappointing. Just Twix. It so like 2 fingers biscuit covered with caramel. In this case, it was it was actually peanut butter in that part. I think it was. Yeah, it was. And then covered in chocolate. The peanut butter was just too subtle. It wasn't as good as things like Reese's peanut butter or KitKat Chunky. It was just too subtle peanut butter. Maybe it's because it wasn't as much sugar thrown in it, something like that. I'm not sure, but it's just too subtle. 2 out of 5. There's better products out there. It was very, very below average. So yeah, 2 out of 5 is about right. Then we had Milky Bar milk and cookies. Yeah, I gave this a 3.5 out of 5 somehow. It's filled with milk, sort of like basically a bit like possibly you could say the Galaxy Crumble or the what we just mentioned before, the Phaser New York iced coffee and mud cake infused milk chocolate. Yeah. And this one's just like it's Nestle Milky Bar chocolate filled with cookie crumble pieces. And I only gave this a 3 out of 5, and I think that was completely wrong. I think this is more, at least a 4. I don't know really why. I think I said it was quite sickly, really. I think I said it had a bit of a sickly taste to it, and you know, sometimes white chocolate can do that to me. But Milky Bar doesn't generally, so it could have been it was a slightly different recipe based on the fact that it had the cookies in. I'm not sure, but I'm quite certain this wasn't a 3 out of 5. It's tempted to say a 4.5 out of 5, but I think I'll meet myself in the middle and give myself some benefit of the doubt and say a 4 out of 5. I don't know if it's still available, this one. In Milky Bar Milk and Cookies. Yeah, really nice, you know, just to look at, and just covered with filling. I think, as I say, I think it was just a bit, you know, it just caught in my throat a bit that day. So Milky Bar doesn't normally do that, so I say it could be down to an older recipe that they changed like this. I'm not sure. I wouldn't have thought so, but maybe it's changed since then. I don't know. But anyway, I think yeah, I'm quite sure it shouldn't be a 3.5 out of 5. So I'm gonna say a 4. But I don't know if you can still get this anymore. Let me know in the comments if you've seen it, but I haven't seen it for a long time. Seen other ones, you know, similar-ish. Well, not similar, but what's it called? Mixed up with some cookies and cream, stuff like that, but not the same. They're not the same, those. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, interesting. But yeah, 4 out of 5 that one. So raise that one a bit. What else do we have? Yeah, Cadbury Snack. Yes, Cadbury Snacks. This one, I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. They said it needs more chocolate. Basically a shortbread biscuit, pretty much covered in chocolate, but it's very thin chocolate. It's more the shortbread biscuit, really. This is the UK version, not the Australian one, which is basically like a 5-center. Very, very interesting, unique, and nice bar. This one's very mundane and boring. I don't think this is a 3.5 out of 5. I think this is barely just about a 3, really. This one, to be honest with you. It's almost, you could say, 2.5 out of 5. I'm going to say 2.5 out of 5, actually. I think it's slightly below average. Yeah, it is. It's not as good as a chocolate digestive, which I would say is, especially definitely not a chocolate hobnob. No, sort of, you know, 3 out of 5 is probably chocolate digestive. 3.5, 4, maybe 4 actually is a chocolate hobnob. Chocolate digestive might be a 3.5 in some instances, but anyway, this one's definitely below average. Biscuit. It's covered in chocolate, but it's not. It's more. It's not like greater covering of chocolate, and it's not like greater biscuit, really. So it's, yeah, 2.5 out of 5, I think is about right. I was going to say 3 at first, but no, 2.5. And what do we have? We had Reeses Nut Bar. I couldn't believe I'd reviewed this long ago. I'm sure I've reviewed that since, thinking I'd never reviewed it before. Again, it's 3 out of 5. So lots of peanuts, but too subtle a peanut taste, I said. Yeah, I'm trying to think of that. There's other ones like Reese's Nutrageous and Overload and stuff like that, I think, since. And they're probably better ones. If not, they might be rebranded, the same rebranded. I'm not sure. I don't think they are. Yeah, I think this is probably. I'll probably keep this the same. I think, you know, I don't remember being bowled over by it. I do, you know, I don't know. I think it's just lots of peanuts that didn't really taste of much. I think I would rather have Snickers or other Reese's products, basically. So, yeah, I think a 3 out of 5 is probably about right for that one. Then what do we have then? KitKat Chunky White. Yeah, I was very disappointed with this one. I said it was just not, it just didn't really have a nice white chocolate taste. I don't know why this was. I mean, I quite like Nestle white chocolate generally. It's the best there is, I think, really, or at least joint best. I think I've not tasted any. Well, to be honest with you, I did that Panda one, didn't I? That Finnish one a couple of weeks back. That was really nice, actually. So yeah, possibly on the par with that generally. You know, Milky Bar, Nestle Milky Bar, and sort of white chocolate crunch, and yeah, but not the KitKat Chunky. It just didn't work for me. I don't know why I've had a bad batch or not. I'm not sure. I don't think so. It just didn't taste that great. Just sort of thought it was very, yeah, just very meh. The white chocolate just didn't taste that great. I love KitKat Chunkies. I love Nestle white chocolate, but this combination just didn't work. I gave it a 3 out of 5, and yeah, so. Yeah, I think that's probably about right, really. I mean, you know, just not as good as the sum of its parts. But I'd say could have just been a one-off, and it was a bad one. But I don't think it was. You know, how likely is that? You know, not really. You know, unless you can visibly see something wrong with it, or it's out of date or something. But you know, there's nothing like that. Yeah. So you know, yeah. Yeah, just an average bar, 3 out of 5. Very disappointing, that one. But yeah, I'm not going to change it. I don't think. You know, just was disappointing. So yeah, 3 out of 5. Okay guys, so that's all the reviews I did then 1 year and 5 years ago, so quite a lot there really. Might have gone through a bit quicker than normal, but I think I had to really, because I could have been here for 2 hours otherwise. yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. As I say, link for all these reviews is in the description. Let me know what you think about all these bars, whether you think any have aged well or bad with time, whether you've not seen any of them for a long time, or whether are ones you'd like to see again, or yeah, leave a comment for free. It's always great to hear from you. It's interesting going back and looking at these because I do see some of your earlier comments as well. You know, it's quite interesting, seeing early comments and things. So it's nice to see those kind of things. What people said a while back, and people's first comments and stuff like that. I'm noticing things like that, when people first started to follow me, and can't believe some of it's 5 or a year ago or in between those really. But you know what I mean? It's interesting. But yeah, well, thanks for watching, guys. I'll say, please click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm sure you probably have watching the look back, but just in case, check out the YouTube member program. Links in the description. Go to support the channel. As I say, there are 3 videos that I reviewed a year ago that were members exclusive. Link for those, as I say, in the description. Discord server links in the description as well. Leave a comment if you have to say. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now. See ya. Bye.